I'm going to pass around a sign-in list specific for this meeting. We'll get a copy of this to our friends with the media, and also so that we can have a record of who all basically spoke up and had an interest in this. So, Mike, would you mind starting that around the table for me? Seemed like there was one other thing. We need to remember, just as in our breakfast, don't assume everybody knows who you are. When it comes your turn to speak, if you choose to speak, please state your name, your affiliation, what city, or if you're with the Quorum Court, or whatever that case might be. Please let us know who you are. Again, in respect for everybody's time, if your statement or your feelings on this has been stated, we probably don't need to restate it 3 and 4 times. I mean, we're all in the room together and we can remember, and I got a feeling that there's going to be a lot of that, but just be mindful of that, and we're going to be very loose in this thing. So, to kick it off, I'm Tim Helder, Sheriff here in Washington County, and I've been tasked by the court to facilitate this meeting, and which, to the credit of the Quorum Court, they want feedback. They want to hear it. These discussions have been primarily done amongst themselves. We've had visits from, Springdale, and I think, Ernie, you've been to a meeting, and I'll miss somebody, but some folks have come, but this is the first time that we've got a lot of participation to discuss this topic that's very important to all of you, I know. So, the way I see it is my job is to facilitate the meeting, not necessarily interject a lot of my opinion, but we want to hear back from you specifically about this issue of jail fee and the ordinance that sits in front of you. So I'm gonna take a break for just a second, give you a chance to kind of go through the packet, kind of look at it, specifically look at that ordinance, and then anything else you want to look at, and then we'll begin the meeting in earnest here in just a couple minutes. I guess I would ask in the back of the room, can you hear without the use of the microphone? We're going to be streaming, I don't know if we're going live, Kelly, or are we just recording, and then we'll post it on our social media for our court members and members of the community that weren't able to attend the meeting. We'll post that so they can see the meeting in its entirety. Our media friends, can you hear? Okay? Okay.
Everybody got a packet? 40 copies, but
We missed Lance. We got him one. Is there anybody else that doesn't have one? Well, let's start this meeting. If you would, as you refer to your packet, ordinance 2019-13, it's listed at the top left or right-hand corner as 13.1. This is the last proposed ordinance that was sponsored by Harvey. You're the sponsor of this ordinance, is that correct? Harvey Bowman, one of our Quorum Court members. Now, I will preface all of this that this discussion has taken place every year for at least the last 3 and maybe 4 years, and it's really never. It's always come up at budget time, and it's always kind of died. To be brought up the next year, when then everybody has forgotten about it and they bring it up again at budget time, well then it causes a lot of consternation for our partners, the cities, and people that would be affected by this. Well, it came up again during budget time, but I think my perception of the court is they pretty well dug their heels in. It looks like they want to get this going and get settled on something, and I think part of the discussion today is it going to be an immediate inaction, where you're going to be paying starting as soon as the court votes on it again, or is it going to be sometime later? I think that's going to be part of this discussion, and we'd love to hear back from you on that. As you read down through this particular ordinance,
Under Article 1, I think one of the things that you're going to want to talk about or get cleared up, and I know that the members of our court feel the same way. They've gone from $62, which was the original ordinance, to this ordinance a day, to $31 a day, but there's also a caveat in there about a $31 booking fee and a $31 a day fee. I think that's something that I need clarified, and I think that you all will want clarity on as well. And you're gonna want clarity on what is a day, what does all that mean? So let's have that discussion as we go around the room. And then you can also see throughout here, there's a penalty for not paying and all that kind of stuff. So, Harvey, go ahead. Remember, tell everybody who you are.
Okay. I'm Harvey Bowen. I'm JP District 3 in Springdale. I have been talking about this for probably 2 or maybe even the 3rd year. And you know, it occurred to me that this situation as it's proposed right now is extremely complex. So I've been talking to people smarter than me, and they made a suggestion that instead of trying to charge by prisoners, that the sheriff tells us that the consistency of population versus prisoners from that population is pretty consistent. So instead of all the complications involved in this proposal, last meeting I tabled this because I want to share what I want to share with you now. And that is that we assess a matter of $4 per 1,000 population to each city. I'm sorry?
Per thousand, for each person.
$4 a head.
$4 a head.
We're going to have $4, basically what we're dealing with, folks, we got about $1 million shortfall out of the general fund to help cover the expenses of the jail. The county cannot continue to carry that. We've done that for about 5 years. So we've got to figure out some way to recover that. That's got to come from the population of Washington County. So assessing each town a consistent fee so they know exactly what their cost would be. Now, I went on the internet and found numbers for populations posted on the internet. And for instance, Springdale's at 80,000, so their cost would be $320,000 a year. Fayetteville would be 85,500. Theirs would be 342,000. So that gives you an idea. You know what the population of your towns are, so you know what your fee would be. We heard earlier that there's all kinds of theories about it's going to cost $1 billion per city and all that kind of stuff, and that's not the case. We strictly want to replace the funds that's coming out of the general fund to cover the jail costs. So that's going to be my proposal at the next meeting. I hope you understand that we will not expect this fee once the tax should be passed, it's split the jail. So all this goes away at the receipt of those additional taxes from a bond issue.
Okay. So Harvey, basically, as the author of this ordinance, is proposing a change, but I hope you're open to conversation to see what everybody's input is. So the latest is $4 per head. Elm Springs, what's your population?
About 2,000.
2,000, so $4, $8,000 a year, something like that. And the caveat was that this would go away if the quarter-cent sales tax was passed for M&O. Is that correct? Okay. All right. Discussion on that.
Sure, I've got a few questions for you. Brian Watts, Police Department. Is there a booking fee currently?
The only fee charged currently is to the Fayetteville Police Department. And how that came about, just a bit of history, is that when this facility was built, Fayetteville had a jail, Springdale had a jail. They were the only 2 municipalities in Washington County that had a jail. Washington County, in my 40 years, has always been the jail for Lincoln and Elm Springs and Prairie Grove and everybody. No charge. What happened was Fayetteville decided to close their jail once we built this, and it was kind of after the fact.
July of '05.
Yeah, 05, we moved in March, they decided in July. We hadn't prepared for this necessarily. We were gonna be impacted quite heavily in our booking area. We had plenty of room at the time, so it wasn't really an issue of more people coming here from Fayetteville's jail. But we really felt like we were gonna be impacted in the intake and the booking out process. And that's held true for the most part. So Fayetteville entered into a contract, they would pay us a one-time fee, we called it a booking fee. It started off at $40, it's now $62 per person that comes through here, and that's at the rate of about, I'm gonna guess, 4,000 people a year. I will tell you that when you start tying dollars to a jail fee, those numbers go down because people become creative, and I'll use Fayetteville as a perfect example. Whenever they closed their jail, they were arresting to the tune of about 10,000 people a year. Well, when we started attaching dollars to what that was, it went down immediately by a third and then a half, and now we're down to where all these years later, 13, 14 years later, they're down to a third of that, I suppose, somewhere close to that. So that's just food for thought, that when it involves a budget, we become more creative in how we deal with these people. So the long drawn out answer to that question was Fayetteville is the only one that pays, and it's not a daily fee. We do charge a daily fee to Madison County. Their citizens have determined through the years they are not going to support a sales tax to build a jail. They were shut down. So we agreed, we'll help you, but you're going to pay full price, and it's going to be a daily fee to offset the cost of running the jail. And 62 seems to be the amount that most people agree on it costs us per day to run the jail. So they pay us.
I'll shift back to my question. Do the arrestees pay a booking fee?
So
For being processed through your jail?
yeah. So there are two booking charges, we'll call them booking fee charges, that are allowable by state law. One is legislation that dictates a $20 booking fee for Class A misdemeanors and help me Jay, and felons. And then there's a second that is, it requires a county ordinance to assess a $20 booking fee. And that's for anybody booking, right? Misdemeanors. Convicted. So those numbers vary, but yes, there are two things in play. I will tell you the Sheriff's Association is legislatively approaching a bill to be sponsored to double the legislative side to 40. And for whatever reason, well, I think it's because the charges are so specific on the legislative one. It's much less. I think it's in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. I'm sorry, you did this for me a while back, and then the city ordinance one is more significant. So those are two things.
To make sure
And those are passed on to the person that's being arrested.
And you're charging those now.
It's up to the courts to collect and assess, and then that goes through Bobby Hill, and then it gets into, yeah. And I think the clerk from Elkins came up the other day and was arguing that we're already paying an increased fee. Well, the city of Elkins technically is not paying anything. It's the person that was arrested and assessed that fine as part of their court costs. Bobby, do you happen to know what those numbers look like?
If you look at page 4, my numbers, 2019 jail revenue projections. You look at the first line carryover, that's actually should be 600,000.
Okay.
You can see going down the sales tax revenue is the $0.25 is the main driving force. And that ordinance we were just talking about for the cities, you get up 550,000. We're also talking about the housing for Fayetteville. Look down at prisoner care city, 210,000, that's all coming from Fayetteville. And the other counties, 550,000, that's all coming from Madison